Hello and welcome to what's going to be a monstrous LEGO store video from Canada. And we've got lots and lots of different things to have a look at with regard to all the different LEGO stores that I visited. But we are starting off at Heathrow to get this introduction done. And now we have landed in Canada. So what we are going to be doing is when we see little bits and pieces like this, it means we're going to be walking from one store to another. So at least we can count how many stores I visited. I think the total was 7. Starting off with this one. I can't remember what order they were visited. Some of them I went with Mr. Saturday Ave himself, and then I did do quite a bit of solo travelling on the last day with a lot of trains. So every store had different bits and pieces on offer. Some of the stores actually had some Monkey Kid sets, some of them didn't. Other bits and pieces had newer sets, and again, some of them did not either. Now, luckily, when I was actually over in Canada, it was at the end of a month into a start of the month, which meant if I went to the same store twice, they would have completely different displays, and this is just before the massive block of cheese came available, which is the Venator from the Clone Wars, which is an incredible looking ship. So we will see that later on in the video. So if you are local from Canada and you recognize what store this is, or recognize what any of the other stores are, then obviously please let me know in the comment section below. But I think I went to 4 official Lego stores. I went to another shop that sold lots and lots of Lego, and then we went to a Minifigs and More store as well. Then you had the bits and pieces from Heathrow Airport there, but that was something and nothing. So I just added that in, that little snippet in at the start. There was nothing to brag about that, because of all places, Heathrow, where I take off from quite a lot for long haul flights, is one of the only airports in London yet to have an official Lego store. Whereas the other 2 in London, which is Gatwick and Stansted, they both currently do. So hopefully Heathrow will at some point, but at the moment they are still Lego store-less, which is a little bit of a shame. I love killing time looking around that. And obviously you can pick up the sets much, much cheaper at the airport than you can, for example, at the Lego store that we are looking at now. So it will be a bit fast-paced. It's going to be a little bit quicker than what you're used to, because I haven't slowed anything down. All of this footage is raw, and there is over probably 45 minutes worth of Lego store footage from all of the different stores put together as one massive compilation, basically. So that's what we've done. Now, some of these sets might have been discontinued. Some of them, like this, for example, are still out on display in some of the stores, and they do look absolutely incredible in person. And it's very interesting to see where each store puts their own display, because some of them make really good use of the window displays because they don't have that much space for display inside the store, and some of them have much more space inside the store so they can display some of the larger sets. But if you do have either the Disney Castle or the Harry Potter set, putting them side by side, they are practically exactly the same size. And also they are pushing the Lego Dream sets as well. There's lots and lots of those available. You can see, luckily, when I went, every store that I visited was relatively quiet. I managed to get a good amount of filming done without getting anybody's way, which is obviously the most important thing. And we do get to have a look at some of the pad walls as well. Now, if I remember rightly, this will be at the time that the CMF minifigures would have been the Marvel minifigures. And I regret not picking some of those up because they are quite difficult to get hold of now. And I do need 1 or 2 of them to add into my own Marvel display. Now, the Concorde itself was actually sold out on the UK website and the Canadian website where I was visiting here. I think it's still on back order, actually, at the time of me recording this, because it's such a popular set. But this store actually had plenty of them in stock. So sometimes if it does say it's sold out online, it obviously means you can go into your local Lego store and pick some of those up. But you can see you've got lots and lots of different artwork with regards to all the dreams. So some of them have made really nice use of the window displays. And like I said, some of them were completely different on the inside. So we are still currently at the first store, I do believe, and they do have a very good selection of all the different minifigures. I did end up picking myself up a pack of 3 on my way back to the airport, which I do believe we will see in this video, because they were already pre-made up for their Halloween edition, I think is what it was. But you can see all the different elements that you've got in there. You've got the boats, you've got the guitars, there's lots and lots of different bits and pieces. And we're going back in time for the giveaway purchase, which was the houses of, I think this was the 3rd house, and they also still had this available. Now that is sold out in the UK very, very quickly, which was the 100th anniversary of Disney. And now you can see you've got lots of different brickheads to have a look at. So if you are thinking of traveling around to any of the different Lego stores over the up and coming years, or depending on when you're watching this, if you've already done it, let me know what tour tour of stores that you did. I know London's very, very popular to try and get all of those Lego stores in a day. On my bucket list is to try and get all of the New York ones done in a weekend. So I'd like to go over to New York for a weekend and just film all 3 Lego stores and then basically come back. It's a long way to go, but I think you can do that Thursday to Sunday. I don't see why that can't be done. So that might be an adventure that I'll be looking into sooner rather than later. And then again, if you are thinking of going over to Billund, there is a full playlist available from the Home of the Brick, which has all of the different Lego stores there. You've also got the Legoland Park, and obviously the most important thing that they've got over there, obviously, is the Lego House as well, which if you don't know what the Lego House is, you need to check out all of those videos. They have absolutely everything over there with lots and lots of different dioramas. Now, again, with regards to what we're going to be looking at, some of the sets are all going to be in completely different layouts. The Lego Technic sets are going to be in different kind of places of the store, and they're going to be beside different sets as well. So you can see that this Technic range is right beside all the Star Wars stuff, and they did have some of the huge Star Wars stuff available, and also they can see they've got the larger Technic sets available, like that much larger crane as well. Now, some of the smaller sets you can see do sell very, very well, and then you've got all of the Speed Champions. So it's always quite interesting what store puts the Lego Technic sets where, because some of the stores, it always feels like it just gets thrown right into the very, very far corner, and it kind of gets forgotten about. The Legoland stores make a big deal of putting them in a very, very strong location, and also the Speed Champion cars in some of the stores also get launched into a corner, whereas here you can see we're still going down the same wall, and we've already gone past the Technic and the Speed Champions, and then we're going into the newer stuff at the time, which would have been the Indiana Jones and obviously the Jurassic Park sets as well. And then they've grouped all of the Lego Creative 3-in-1 sets together, and then you've got all of the multi-brick sets as well. So they did look very, very impressive on display. As you can see, they do have those really nice brick windows in. And what you will notice, now I put these videos back to back, is that when we have a quick pan round of the whole store and there's nobody in there, some of the stores have had a refurb and some of them are slightly older. So you have to let us know which one you prefer. Do you like the Legoland type of feel, or do you prefer the sort of the original feel, because all the lighting and everything is different across the top? Now, the Batman Shadow Box, incredible build. I have picked that up myself, and it is a beautiful build. It's one of those that looks very, very weird in a window display, but the second you start to build it, you can understand why it is so good, because there's just so much detail involved, which you can't really see unless you start putting it together. Then you know what you're looking for. But you can see massive amount of Marvel selection. You've got the Doctor Strange set, you've got the Groot, and you've got the Venomized Groot as well, side by side. And then down in here, you have this. Now, this was actually the first time me ever seeing that set, not the Groots, but the one behind it, which is a big Spider-Man head. Since then, I've bought that. I've also got the edition, the add-on, which is the set that came out in January of 2024. I've managed to put both of those sets together. And then it's also a unboxing video and a tutorial guide of how to put those two sets together and what they look like on display as well. So that is available in the unboxing and building playlist. And to everybody that has been subscribing to the channel recently, thank you very much indeed. And for everybody that's leaving comments and everything like that, it's always great to hear from everybody. Now, that set at the moment is Last Chance. I do believe is in a sale. Now, this Hocus Pocus set is also in a massive sale in the UK. It went into a sale on the Black Friday, and it stayed in a sale. So over in the UK, we have multiple shops that sell a lot of the Lego sets, and that one just never seems to be full price unless you get it from Lego themselves. So I don't know why that one doesn't seem to be selling very well, where it was sold out, I do believe, on day one in all of the Lego stores for people to get that set with that 100th giveaway purchase. So it's very, very interesting to see how the sort of the times are changing with regards to who wants to buy what. And again, this was getting close to Christmas, so all of the advent calendars were out and about then, and obviously they get changed every single year as well. Now, the car garage with the additions of the new cars that have come out in 24, I think that would be a great set to put side by side. Then you've got all the Arctic stuff. You can see you've got the slush there. You've got the Lego City sets across the bottom. And then you've got the nice big one up at the top. I told you it's going to be quick in places, just because in certain sections of the store it was a little bit busier. And because this video is already 47 minutes long, if I started to slow it all down and make it look a little bit easier for you guys and girls to see, you'd be looking at close to an hour and a half at least. So rather than listen to my voice for an hour and a half, you're going to have it for 47 minutes. Now, that set there, that doesn't bother me, but I do like the minifigure that it comes with. I think it does look very, very smart. And this set as well, I think, looks great with regards to the cine film and everything that goes through. And then you've got the up house. So don't forget, you can get yourself more balloons. Now, since me going here, I have actually already been over to Los Angeles since me filming this, and I have already uploaded the Disney store. So you've got the Lego store at Downtown Disney, which had a huge scaled up house with massive balloons, and it was almost like a doll size house. It was absolutely massive. So there was a custom build inside that store, which did look very impressive indeed. So again, there is lots and lots of videos relating to all different Lego stores from around the world, and all the different Legoland parks that I've been to as well, with regards to the stores that are available inside the parks. And then obviously you've got the big shop as well, because when I went over to California, I managed to do the Disney store, and then I went to the big shop in California, and we managed to get all of that filmed. So there is a lot to have a look at over on the channel. And obviously, if you're into all of the different sets that are available at the different times, it's almost like a time capsule. Because when you film it, the sets move off the shelf so quickly. There's always going to be something that you're looking at and you're going to regret. I recently rewatched one of the Dubai trips that I went to, because I am thinking of going back there as well. And some of the sets that I wished I picked up at the time, which are now worth an absolute fortune, it's one of those. So you can see just the huge selection of bits and pieces that are available in here, and obviously they tend to put all the Duplo stuff quite grouped close together, and they do in some stores put the Duplo bits and pieces quite close to the Disney stuff as well. Now at this point in time, they did have Dreamed Building, and then there we go, you have got the Lego minifigures from the Marvel Studios. So at that time you could easily pick them all up, and you still could get all of the Disney minifigures as well, which sold out really quick. So you can see the difference between the Disney packaging there and the big Marvel boxes. Now with the new boxes, there is a QR code available that you can scan the QR code, and then when you know what each number relates to for the figure, you know exactly what one that you're after, and then that way you will not get any duplicates whatsoever. Now there are tutorial guides online easily available from everybody, and if you can't find one, get in the comment section below and I'll link you to somebody that I know has done one, because I've not done one personally, and it'll be very helpful for all of you. And at least that way, unlike the Marvel boxes where it was just lucky dip and there was no way of telling, at least with the new series that has come out in January of 2024, it is a little bit easier, and I hope that is something that they do moving forward. Otherwise it will be an absolute nightmare trying to get all these different dupes. So we'll see exactly what happens. So moving on to all of the Ninjago bits and pieces. So like I said, some of them had a massive Ninjago selection. So you can see the bottom left there's something that I really do want next to the Harry Potter castle, but they don't have some of the Monkey Kid sets. And I think one of the stores did have the Monkey Kid set, but they just didn't have as many Ninjago out on display. And again, you can see you've got a big selection of all the Harry Potter, and we've already seen that one built up, which again did look very impressive. And again, seeing some of these sets for the first time, it's always nice to see them in store, because you can see just how much space it takes up. And then you've got all of the other little 4+ Marvel sets that I would have missed and pan round as we had a look at it for the first time. So as you can see, all of that on the sides, I would have missed some of those cubes originally, because there would have been people stood there and they were walking around, just make sure that we're going to stoke everything of this in. And then I think we are going to be going to the next store very quickly. And I think between the two stores on the first bit, I was too stupid not to put anything in with regards to me breaking it up. And then from there on, we'll easily know when we go to a different store, because there'll be a bus, train, or me just randomly walking around for sort of 20-30 seconds just around Canada. But again, really pushing all of the Lego Dreams stuff. And they had these things in the window. I didn't actually put 2 and 2 together to start with, that was actually part of the Lego Dreams sets. Now that is the size of the store. That does look very impressive. Now we are going to be moving on. So potentially that was actually 2 stores. So we could have done 2. It might have just been the one. Never going to know unless you're local. So now we are moving on to the next thing. So taking the local transportation, it was good fun going from one to another. I think actually this is the same day, and we're going to the second store. So yes, so the first store that we looked at was all one store. Now this is a completely separate store. So I was clever enough to actually add in transportation between every single store. Give myself a gold star. Happy days. So again, you can see Hocus Pocus there, all built up. But this store had all the circular cylinder tubes at different heights. So they could just basically put the bigger sets in the bigger ones, the smaller ones in the smaller ones, and they were all adjustable. That is a new style of them doing it, rather than the brick cube windows that we've just seen from the store before. So you can see you've got the big ones, you've got the small ones. It's actually quite handy to be able to look over the top, because you can actually then see behind the sets. You can see what it is like on top of the sets, rather than looking in sort of that viewfinder Lego brick that we've just seen before. It did look a lot cleaner doing it this way, but I just don't know if it takes up more shop floor space doing it this way than it did with the other. But I think it both look very, very effective. So again, this was a time that the new Pirate set had just come out, and I think this is also the crossover for the brand new Viking set that would have come out in a couple of days' time from here. But you can see you've got the big Titanic, and then you've got the all the art bits and pieces. You've got the nice modular, then you've got the castle, then you've got the lighthouse, and then you've got the Atari, which again is all big, big, big sales. If anybody's picked up the Pac-Man, then please let me know. The Transformers, actually that was their first collaboration with Hasbro, and they will apparently be doing something with Hasbro for Peppa Pig as well. So I know that they're going to be doing bits and pieces in their Legoland park with regards to play areas and things like that. So I've already seen that. And some bits and pieces of information online, but I don't know if they are going to be doing some Peppa Pig Lego sets. So if you are a fan of Peppa Pig, again, please let me know. So at the time of this being filmed, they have now released lots and lots more Sonic the Hedgehog sets, with lots of more minifigures to go with those sets as well. So that was the first wave of Sonic next to the Mario. And I thought they had done that quite well, actually, putting all of the game bits and pieces together, because you've just gone from the Atari, the Pac-Man, into Sonic, into Super Mario, and then it carries on panning through. Then we'll move over to the next thing. So if you ever got any of the Super Mario sets, again, let me know in that comment section below, because it's always interesting to know who likes to collect what. Now, moving down the store a little bit, you know where we're at now. You can see we've got the X-Wing, which again is in that new style of cube. I think it looks fantastic in there with the really nice black backdrop, and you can see you had all the stars, but it also had sort of like the big magnifying glass style on there as well, which again is slightly different to what it was at the other store. And that is something else that they have added in at the Legoland stores, especially noticeable at Legoland Windsor when they had their first refurb. But again, you can see just how easy it looks like they can just swap all the cylinder tubes over. And it does look like a nice display case, because normally all the display cases are sort of not a cylinder tube, they're all rectangular shapes, and they can eat into quite a bit of space. Whereas at least those, you know exactly what you're getting. And if you are a Star Wars fan, Ghost available. You've got the twin pack for the Mando bits and pieces. You've got the T6, and then from all the Star Wars, because it was getting close to Christmas at the time of this being filmed, like we've already seen the advent calendars, they had a lot of these out and about, so it was always nice to see a mix and match of sort of their Easter stuff mixed in with all the Christmas things, because you don't tend to see the Christmas stuff out and about all year round. They kind of get put out around October, and then they get taken back off the shelves in January. And there was, and there still is, lots of the Lego Christmas sets still available in a sale, which I am quite surprised about. So they seem to be either end of line or getting discontinued, or some of them are still in a big sale for whatever reason. I don't know. You can see how that one is displayed completely differently. That is actually just standalone, and they did have it right beside the new Avengers Endgame battle, which does look very, very good. I am tempted to actually add that into my display, so I can just make sort of get some height on the ground and put it in between. Obviously now what has already come out, which would be My Daily Bugle, and the Avengers Tower. So the Avengers Tower has been bought, built, and displayed before I've actually got round to making this video. So you can see how backwards I'm doing everything. If you've got the capped shield, let me know what that is like to build. It does look very, very repetitive, but can you get it on the wall, or is it just a standalone on a stand? And again, that tumbler looks fantastic. You've got the 92 car there, I do believe, because the 86 is already with the shadow box, or that might be the other way round. That might be the 86 and the 92 comes with the shadow box. Either or, I think the car's identical, but it does come with different minifigures. You do not get the Joker with the shadow box. You get the Penguin instead. So if you're getting the Penguin instead, that has to be 92, which means that is the 89 Batman, not the 86. That would be the 89 Batmobile. And then we have got all the different Harry Potter bits and pieces. You can see what they've done there with the train. And then they have sort of just wrapped the track around the station on that one. And then you got the massive train up at the top. And again, more Harry Potter bits and pieces on there. And then you've got all the brickheads. But there doesn't seem to be as much Harry Potter sets in this store than what there was at the other store. So it's actually quite interesting watching this all back for the first time. And again, you can see how they've got them displayed. They've actually got them displayed on the shelf side on. So they are displaying the boxes ever so slightly different because obviously it's all adjustable shelving. That is why in my unboxing videos, again, there's a place available for the unboxing videos, I do show off all the box artwork front, top, and back because sometimes they are now displaying the boxes side on, and sometimes you just don't think they've got it in store because you don't see any of the photos above on the Lego website, I do believe. So it's always nice to see the top, but they have obviously brought quite a lot of those forward because they were running out, actually not running out of stock, but it was getting to that point where they're waiting for the new arrivals to come in, which was literally in 48 hours time from now. So they were just getting everything prepped and ready. And that ventner at the back, that was still being built, ready for it to be put on display in a couple of days' time. So I did manage to get a sneak peek of that early, which was really nice to see. I did speak to the members of staff there and what it was like to build, and it did look very good. Now, that is the minifigure pack that I ended up picking up. For some reason, I ended up putting it back. I don't know why I put it back then, because I actually came back to the store a couple of days later and then got it anyway. But again, that's a ventner at the back, and we will take a much better look at that later on in this video. And you can see just how good that looks, and it does look very, very good on display. I've seen a lot of people do unboxing videos on that now, and I think it does look very, very smart. And what I do like about it is just how sturdy that set is. You see people picking it up, throwing it around and swooshing it all over the place, where if you sneeze beside the Falcon or the old school Destroyer block of cheese, they just fall apart. So you can't breathe or sneeze by it, whereas that one, you can pretty much hit it with a hammer, not advised, and it will more than likely stay apart. Now, you have got all the different brick heads here. You've got the multi-packs all grouped together with the single ones, and then you've got the Lego Creator stuff at the bottom. Now, the Lego Creator stuff is in the bright yellow artwork, and that is the 4x4, which comes with the nice minifigure, and you've also got the taxi as well, which would be perfect for a New York display. So I need to get myself some of those and add them into my collection ready for this Marvel display that I'm in the process of doing. So again, you can see here they've actually added in their Ninjago stuff right next to the Jurassic Park bits and pieces, and you can see that you've got the nice new Ninjago set there. That is still on my bucket list. And then that one up at the top is a fantastic build. So again, lots and lots of Ninjago bits and pieces available in here. And they've pinned it, by the looks of it, between the Lego City and what we've just been having a look at. So again, completely different location in the store. It all stands out. It all looks very good, but each store obviously fits it in its own way. Now, if you are looking forward to any of the Lego City sets in 2024, because obviously the burger van seems to be very, very popular with people, it might be worth trying to pick up some of these sets that we're looking at now, because a lot of these will be discontinued, I would imagine, in 2024. Some of them might already have been. Now, because they don't seem to stay out too long, they're out maybe 12 to 18 months, some of the sets, but a lot of the vehicles that we're going to be having a look at, their replacement is already available, because you've got the slushy truck now, which I do believe replaced the pizza wagon, which might have replaced the ice cream. It might go on pizza, ice cream, slushy. That's probably how it went. So it went pizza, ice cream, slushy, and now we've got burger van. So there's lots and lots of eateries available. And again, you've got a different size pab wall as well. As you can see, you've got all the different elements. It was a good size pick a brick, or pick and build, should I say, or pab, that'd be the way of doing it. And I thought having the dream stuff on display in the middle was a nice touch rather than having it in the window, because you could just walk around it and see it easily, and then you could pick up any of the sets you wanted, whereas the other store didn't do that, but they did have sort of like a little game thing, didn't they, at the entrance on the left, which we've already had a good look at. So again, it's the same day, and the stores have completely different bits and pieces, and now you can see how many of these Concords they had. I wouldn't imagine they would have stayed there long. They probably would have gone by the weekend, because I actually checked the website when I was in store, and I did actually speak to a local that was going to pick one of these up, and he said he just travelled into store because he was going to order it online and couldn't, and still got the giveaway purchase because he topped it up. So you could pick up that giveaway purchase if you wanted to. I think that Concorde is at a very, very good price point. It looks a great build, it has lots of detail, and it is rather large as well, because obviously we've already seen it. So it does look very, very good on display, and it has sold so well, which is always really nice. That's Lego sort of nailed it with that one, and a lot of people wanted it, and it's just been on back order for a good amount of time. Now, moving on to, you can see all of the much smaller sets, or the younger sets, shall I say, they are always still grouped together. So they've grouped all that together on this one. On the middle here, you can see that they've got all the Harry Potter stuff away from the shelf, and they have got one of those things that you walk around on, because this store had the wrap around the outside, and they had these sort of little aisles that you could go down and loop it round, and some of them had bits and pieces on display in the middle, and some of them had displays on the outer edge as well. So you can see we're now just sort of turning into a bit of a highlight reel, making sure that I've not missed anything as we go back over some of the little bits and pieces. More stuff at the top that I would have missed because I wouldn't have paid any attention when I was wrapping around it the first time. You can see that they have again got the more brighter artwork and the LED lighting at the store, which is basically exactly now what they're doing at all the airport Lego stores and the Legoland stores, because it's easier to see where everything is located and how you've got all the exclusive sets. And that is the size of the store behind it. That's what we've just had a look at. And you can also see that they have got the big things in the window just here. So again, they've got the Dream stuff on display with this sort of the flicker screen, and that is the difference of the store. And I think we're about to have a better look at the store now as I pan down. That is the size of that store. So that is 2 stores down and off to the next one. So like I said, we've got a lot to see and do. We are halfway through the video, so hopefully you're not too bored yet. And this is just me randomly walking around somewhere, having a look at something before we crack on and get over to the next store. But before we get over to the next store, we're going to have a quick look at the view from the hotel decking. Now, the reason why I put this in is the hotel that I stayed at was in such a convenient location to get on any public transportation. It was really easy to get from the airport as well. So with regards to traveling over to this area that I was staying at in Canada, you literally land at the main airport and then you get on a big train, nice and simple, and then the train took you to another train station. From that train station you then came to here. So it was so easy, and their underground network was really good. Then from here you could just walk off and do whatever it is that you wanted to do, and then you could just get back on the train and go off. So on my last day, I actually got on the train, jumped off at different stations on the way back, used their underground network to then go to all of the other Lego stores, to then get back on the big train again that took me directly to the airport, because I think that was about an hour for that train. And then from there on, you could then just chill out at the airport. You don't have to worry. So that is actually all available, including what we are looking at now. This is available in a completely separate video and playlist of how to get around. But back to the Lego. So here we go. So we are now at a completely different store. Can you guess where we're at? If we're looking at something that has all of this amazing displays out the front, do you think we are at a Lego store, or do you think we're at a Minifigs and More? I'm pretty sure that is where we're at, because you can see we can now buy all different used Lego, built and not built. They'd all been put back in the bags. Again, everything that we are looking at is available in separate videos in the Lego store as well. So it's almost everything that I put together. I've added in 1 or 2 different bits that was not included in the Lego store videos, and then I might have taken 1 or 2 bits and pieces away just to make it ever so slightly different. Not that anybody's going to notice anyway, but you can see you've got all the different elements here in the bags. I would imagine that stock will rotate very quickly, because you can just pick up whatever minifigures you want to pick up and add them into your own display. So me watching this back now, I'm regretting not picking up quite a few of these, because they would have been perfect to add into my own displays. So you can see you've got all of the different ones there with regards to all of the sort of different emergency response. And then up at the top, you've got all of the different elements. You've got the prisoners, and then you've got the escape artists, and then as you're coming down, you've got lots of other bits and pieces. Then in the cabinets, you will have loads and loads of minifigures in there, so you can pick up your Marvel, your DC, which I am going to look back at and go, I want all of those, and I didn't pick up any of them, which is stupid, but I did end up getting some of the horror characters, and I also got my 1966 Batmobile with the Joker as well, which is really hard to get. So we're at the Brick Shack in Canada. So if you're wondering where we're at and you are in Canada, get yourself over to the Brick Shack. Amazing store. Huge amount of stock, lots and lots of second-hand sets that you can pick up. The minifigure selection at the time of me being here was absolutely fantastic, and there was lots of people buying lots of different things, which is always really nice. So if I do come back here, I will end up revisiting this store when I can, because it's such a nice place to go to, and I do want to come back over here sooner rather than later, especially for any of the expos that they've got with regards to the Lego tour bits and pieces, because I think they've got a big thing coming up which might be maybe 2 or 3 days long. So it'd be nice to go over and just see all of that and then bolt this on to, say, for example, New York, because that'd be easy enough to do New York and here. And you could do that in a week. There, back, bish, bash, bosh. Now, big castle. Looked fantastic. Loads of detail. Then behind that, you have got the picture. And then you've got all of this on the back wall. Some of this was for sale. Some of it was not for sale. And it all looks incredible. So you can see there'll be some sets there that I'm sure some of you will want to pick up. So I did manage to have a clean sweep of this. And then you've got other bits and pieces underneath. Now, I was told that they had every single bat cave that was available come in at one time, and all of them sold straight away. Now, these are the minifigures in question. You can see there's lots of them to pick from. You can see you've got the Lego movie stuff there, but you've got Wild Style multiple times. You've got Rex. You've got some of the Jurassic Park bits and pieces. I do believe that is somebody from The Incredibles at the start. They're all mixed and matched. You've got a lot of CMFs in there. You will have some horror characters, or some villain characters, shall I say, from Batman. The horror stuff was wrapped around the corner. You can see you've got the referee in there. And then beside that, you've got some of the Minecraft. Then you've got lots and lots of Baymaxes, which was really hard to get over in the UK, but the Baymax was easy enough to get here. And then underneath that, you have got, well, multiple Ecto ones in the larger scale. And I think there's a smaller scale one as well. And then you have some of the Le Mans cars, some of them with stickers on, some of them without the stickers on, some of them just ready with the sticker sheet. Then you've got the Fairy Tale Brook, and that is what that cabinet looks like. Now, moving on to the next one. If you wanted any Harry Potter characters, spoilt. They had everybody from all the different years, all the different series. They had the CMFs, and they had the other characters that were available. Not now. That's what I'm looking at and regretting. All of those DC horror characters and the different versions of Batman. I should have picked up every single one of those because I need them now for my display. I am regretting my decision in life not picking up any of those because they do look incredible. So I do need to pick those up. So I will have to fly back over just to see if they've got them. I think that's a solid excuse and a good reason to get over there. Now again, you can see you've got the different gates, you've got some of the different castle stuff, and then there was actually a dream set stood up there. So somebody brought that dream set in early. There's your city pizza, again with stickers, without, different headlights on the front of them. Some of them have been checked and they are perfect. Some of them are just sold as seen. So some of them are cheaper than others, even though both of them are side by side. There will be slight differences between them. And again, you're spoiled with regards to the different types of vehicles. You've got a good sized jet at the back, and then you've got the big Ninjago one there as well. So again, you've got lots of different bits and pieces you can pick up and have a go at if you wanted to. Then you've got the tractor, and then you have got the 007 James Bond vehicle, which again does look very, very impressive. And then you've got the Ecto 1 again. And then we've got the dolls. So with regards to all the different dolls, I think there's a good selection of those. And then if you want any pirates, well, you can pick up as many as you like on that one. There's just an army of them if you wanted. And then you've got the smaller characters dotted in there. I think that's all the Super Mario stuff. And then from there, you go into the next lot of minifigures. And then underneath that, you have got some other bits and pieces, which is all Ninjago stuff. So again, does look very, very good indeed for all of this. So again, if you wanted any of these, this is your time to go, or just go, because they will have other bits and pieces there. And there it was the little safe. So that little safe did look rather smart as well. I think Saturday I might have picked that one up because we went together on this visit. And then again, having a look at some of the cars that I might have missed, and that's what I did end up getting. So I got the Batman, the Joker, and I got the 66 car. So I did end up getting the Tash. And that is, see, what they do is they fully check everything, put it in a sealed bag with the instruction booklet, and then you just pay the price of what it is. I saw that and put it straight on the counter. I said, yes, please, straight away. And they had all of these underneath, which again had been fully checked, ready for you to build. And some of them, obviously, you can see that were built as well. So they do break some of the sets down to make sure that every single piece and element is there if you wanted it. Or some of them, like I said, are just sold as seen. So this is the last little bit of the Brick Shack I think we're going to be having a look at. There might be one or two more bits and pieces in, but we still have to go back to some of the other stores. I think we've got another 2 stores at least to visit, if not maybe 3. So there is still quite a lot to come at. This is the next lot of minifigures that we would have missed because I didn't get everything on the first time. So having a look at all the other elements that I couldn't get to on the left-hand side. So we didn't look at any of this. We saw the minifigures, but I was stupid enough to film all of this. And then we have got some of the army characters. So these are all customs. And then underneath that, as we're panning round, you can see we've got the horror characters. So that's what I wanted to get to, which I did end up picking up all of these. And there is a unboxing at the hotel room that I was at, to be able to have a look at those in much, much greater detail. So again, this is a better look at the castle, which does look very, very good The scale of this thing was massive. No, it was not for sale. I don't know who built it. I don't know if it was just there for a display purpose, if it's a local or somebody that works at this store. But I think it's definitely worth going back there for the Brick Shack. It does look very, very good indeed. So it was well worth going there and having a good visit. Now, between going there, I then went on a random walk in the morning. And on that random walk, I found this random thing, which is the park. Now, in this park, it had lots of different little bits and pieces. Like I said, I'm only using this as a little divider. We're going to be looking at this for all of about 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to the next store. But that is the view you had, depending on what way you walked. So it did look very, very nice, very luscious and green. And the weather was, luckily, really nice. Whereas at the moment, I do believe it is minus 20. So the other day we had minus 6 in the UK. They have over minus 20 currently. So it's a bit fresh. But did you know the Lego Group has the largest wheel provider, basically? And yes, I did know that. They do produce the most amount of wheels in the world. And we are now walking around a different store, having a look at snippets of what is available in there. So it's just a very, very quick look at this. They did have, again, lots of different bits and pieces in. Now, I do believe we are into a new month. So there will be different stuff that we have yet to have seen here. And I was surprised that this shop had lots of what I thought was going to be exclusive sets at the Lego store only, because we don't have this chain over in the UK, I don't think. So no, we definitely don't have this chain over in the UK. So it's nice to see all of these different bits and pieces here. So again, they've got a huge selection of the Super Mario. And they will have the Sonic stuff dotted around, but they will have it in a different area. They've got all the Marvel bits and pieces there. You've got the smaller sets, you've got the mechs, you've got the larger sets. Again, you've got the other Endgame, a good selection of minifigures with that. And then you've got the smaller Marvel set. You've got the X-Men 97 Claw, the Wolverine Claw. And then what I end up spotting is, well, for a fact, they've got the sale. So again, we are, maybe 48 hours apart of the two stores. We've just seen those full price, and now they're in a sale somewhere else. They've got different poly bags, which I've not yet seen. So I did end up picking up one or two of those as well, which is always nice to pick up a poly bag, because that's something that we don't tend to have over in the UK too much. But they do have a huge selection, as you can see, of the Lego minifigures, and obviously the bricks that we've just brushed past it as well. So you can pick up lots of different brick sets and do whatever it is that you wanted to do with those. So that keeps it nice and easy and handy. And then again, full selection as it stood of all of the different advent calendars, which did sell out very, very quickly. Now, end of the day, moving on somewhere else. So we are, where do you think we are? We're not at an airport, we're not at a taxi rank. It is time to get on yet another train. So I have gone on multiple trains and multiple undergrounds. Went on Ubers. I went on every single type of transportation, and I still walked as much as I could. So that's as simple as that of getting the tickets. So if you want to see what it's like traveling around with the travel, like I said, that is available in a separate video. Now, solo travels, we are back to the store that we started at, because you can recognize the window display. So the window display hadn't changed, which I didn't think had changed too much, but you can see there's the insect collection there. You've got the big Concorde at the start, but as we come in, we are meet and greet by the big Star Wars ventnor. Now, that did look very, very good. I'm hoping it's this store, because some of it has changed ever so slightly, and they've also added in the new winter display as well. So this was not out and about. The Alpine Lodge has now just been released. So this was day one of it actually being out on display, and I'm glad they had it there. I wanted to see that in person. And they have got some different bricks available, and you can obviously see how you make up all of the Halloween bits and pieces. Now, I know this is going to be very quick, because I was running out of time, really, because how long it took me to get to this store and how long it was going to get me. I tried to do 3 stores in a day and then get back to the airport, and I do believe that there was a text alert that there was an issue on the train track, and it was the only train going in to the airport, and it was delayed by about an hour or so. But by the time I actually got to the airport, I was actually there within plenty of time, because my flight, like all the others, were delayed and you could not move. It was just gridlocked in there. But we managed it. We did what we did. And me watching this back and remembering all of that, I do need to find myself a power pack to charge my phone up, because my phone almost died, which had my ticket to scan to be able to get into the airport, because I'm filming a lot of this actually on my phone, because it was just easier to do than actually getting my camera out the bag. Because what you got to remember is right now I am carrying a huge backpack and a massive suitcase at the moment. So we do all of that is available in a completely separate video as well. And it was emotional. Now, talking of emotional, we only have 8 minutes left. But if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Again, feedback below what your local Lego store's like. What do you think of the current 2024 stock? Or further afield, if you're watching this in a different year, let us know, because it's always nice to know what's out and about. And obviously, I'm going to be doing this for as long as I can. So hopefully, I'll get back here 25, maybe 26, and then see just how the stores have changed, because they are opening up lots of different stores all over the place. And hopefully, they're going to be opening up more Legoland parks, which means I can travel around the world to all of the other Legoland parks they've got available. So currently, since me filming this, I have been to Legoland California. Thought that was absolutely incredible. And the day of me doing this voiceover, I am finalizing my flights to Singapore so I can go over to Legoland Malaysia and then come back via Legoland Dubai, and then potentially be super greedy and get over to Abu Dhabi to get over and see all the Lego stuff that's over there as well. Now, that might be very ambitious to try and do all that in less than 2 weeks, but we will see what is what. So the day this video goes live, which will be more than likely, I think it's going to go live on the Friday, he says. It might go live earlier than that. It might go live later that on the Sunday, but within a 72-hour period, shall I say, of me going live, or this video going live, that trip will be booked. Now, that took that long. We missed the last part of the store, and we're having a look at another train. Yes, they are double-decker trains. You do get a nice view from the top of those trains as well, and you can sit down, plug your laptop in, charge your phone up and do that kind of thing. And you can get quite a bit of work done if you need to. Because like I said, I was on there for about an hour and a half, I think, at one point on that larger train. And I did do all the underground bits and pieces as well to get to all of the other Lego stores. So there was a lot of sort of commuting. There was also a lot of buses involved as well. So I jumped off one, ended up having to get on a bus to get on the underground to get to a store to come back again, just with how the track worked. Now, this is the first time me soaking this in properly. So you know what store this is. This is the opposite store. This was the set that we were looking at that hadn't yet been finished behind the counter. And then you walk in and it did look very, very good. So I did get it wrong. So I thought this was the store. The first store we looked at, it wasn't. That had obviously the village set for the Winter Village, which was the Alpine Lodge, which we were looking at just now. And then obviously this store had the brand new UCS set. Now, if you picked up that Star Wars set, let me know. Because I do believe that sold out day one. That was very, very impressive to see that the Concorde sold out day one and that set sold out day one within almost it was probably fortnight between those sets coming out, I think. So it was a bit of a weird stagger. So if you remember all the way back in 2023, they released some of the sets on the 1st and some of the other sets on the 6th. So I think I was there maybe the last day of one, the first day of another. That's why we saw some of the sets for the first ever time. And now we're looking at the same store with a completely different layout, because all of the stock they were waiting for was this kind of stuff on the 6th. It gets very, very confusing with some of the release schedules for Lego. But as it stands for 2024, they kept it simple. Huge amount of stuff came out on the 1st. Lots of pre-orders available for the 1st of February. All of the stuff is coming out in February that we know about already, and they are already showing and teasing the stuff that's coming out in March. And at the moment, there's no mid-month releases, so that keeps it nice and simple. I'm sure that's going to change as the year progresses, but at the moment, it's nice and simple, and you can see that they did have the Main Street, and they had the Alpine Lodge, and all of those available, but you can see how much shelf space available already, because people are obviously coming in and picking those up. And I think, if I remember rightly, I did speak to a couple of the members of staff, asked if there was a queue, and they said there was. So people were queuing up day one to pick up some of these sets, but by the time I had actually got to here, the queue had disappeared and it was just me walking around, which is always nice. It's always nice to have the store basically to yourself. But again, you can see they kept the Dreams and the Creator sets in situ, so they haven't really moved too much. And you can also, don't think at this point there's any new Dream sets coming out. There might be one or two new Friends sets that actually came out on the same day as the UCS block of cheese as well. And then up above, you have got some of the Fairground sets. Now, some of those I do need to add into my collection, really, I think, for just Heart Lake City, because Heart Lake City at Legoland Windsor is absolutely massive. But it does seem to be the further you go around the world to all the other Legoland parks, they don't have a lot of the themes that are popular over in the UK, because I don't think over in Canada and America, you get the Lego Friends TV show, whereas we do over here. And we also get the Legoland magazines, which I don't think you guys and girls get either. So it's always interesting to see exactly what is what and what's occurring with regards to all the different bits and pieces. But we will see what the future holds with regards to more stock coming your way and everything like that. But guys, we have got about 2 minutes left. So we're just going over some of the bits and pieces, and again, that is the X-Wing that hadn't changed. That still looks very, very impressive, the backdrop. But if you notice that some of the battle packs have moved around, that UCS Razor Crest went into an enormous sale. That had nearly, I think it was either 170 or £200 knocked off in a John Lewis sale in the UK over Black Friday. So it's almost worth now waiting for these massive sales in the UK because they are enormous, but they did not put any of the UCS scale sets into a UK sale. But they did in Canada, if I remember rightly. And I think, if I remember rightly as well, the big castle had double or triple VIP points and it went into a sale. Well, we had none of that over in the UK for our Black Friday, but yet our Christmas sale seemed to be slightly stronger than what the Americans and the Canadians got. So again, their business model, depending on what country you're in, changes rapidly, which is always interesting to see. But pick a brick, you can see a lot of the bits and pieces have been moved down because they did actually have some empty cubes at the top, which I'm pretty sure they were all full when we went there last time. So those elements have been picked. But this store for the refurb has got the smaller pab wall. So I think a lot of people like a good pab wall, as we have a quick look at the floor there. So I'm not too sure why they have got into a habit of adding in smaller pab walls in some of the stores where, again, talking about California, they had enormous pub walls in 4 different areas of their Legoland park. And again, all of those videos are available. The big shop's available, and they probably had the best display I've ever seen at a store at the big shop in California as well. So if I remember, I will add the big shop from California to the end of this video. So if you want to see current stock or completely different diorama bits and pieces, that will be the one for you. But you can see they've got the big space chap just there. This was the only store that had that one, and that is locked over the top of your minifigure bits. And you can see that you can build up your own, or you could buy that 3-pack, which is what I did look. So I went back and actually got that. So I ended up picking up that 3-pack, and that is what went home for me from here. And this is a better look at that UCS ship. I think I'm going to have to end up getting this and making just a pure Clone Wars display with the other UCS gunship as well, which I've got, because I am in the process of putting together a huge theme park area, all in the disaster series that I've been doing under the My Lego City playlist. So all of that, if you want to see me smashing everything, all of that is available. That, I do believe, is all of the Lego stores. So now what we end up doing is making our way back to the airport, and we are done. Now, I have, for the first ever time, done this in one take because I have no time available to do it. I am currently sat in my truck doing a voiceover, so hopefully there's not too much back noise. I do apologise for me taking breaths, but we are making our way back to the airport now. That is exactly where we are, actually. So we're having a quick look at the airport, about to walk in. I do believe we're going to have a quick look at the train station as well as a sneak peek. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.